How do you activate the superconscious mind? Here is the most powerful of all. We call this the master method of activation. It is called solitude. You activate the superconscious mind with solitude. Now, how do you use solitude? We call this go into the silence. Go and sit down quietly by yourself for 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes. Most people in our society have never sat quietly for 30 to 60 minutes in their entire lives. Yet I will tell you this method works 100% of the time. That any problem that you have, any difficulty, any challenge, any goal that you want to accomplish, if you'll go into the silence and sit quietly and then listen to the still small voice within, this is the key. You will find that at a certain point, probably at about 25 to 30 minutes, your mind will go completely clear. And then a flow of ideas will start to flow into your mind. You'll feel energy welling up inside you. And at a precise moment, as you sit there in complete silence, no cigarettes, no coffee, no music, nothing, just complete silence, at a particular moment, your mind will go clear and wham, exactly the answer you need will come at exactly the right time. And if you will get up and go and carry out that answer, it will turn out to be exactly.
And the reason I know it works, it's effective, is because I've tried it. I've tried it myself, man. You know, whenever I feel just, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure in my life, a lot of anxiety, and like I need answers, I want an answer to know what my next step should be in life. I always find that I end up doing this without even realizing that I'm doing this. I end up like either doing this at my house, in my bedroom. I just sit there and in silence for like 30 to 60 minutes. And sometimes I go even longer than that. I just kind of like sit down, no music, nothing, no phone, no drink. I just literally just sit down and um I just let myself just be, I just open my eyes and I just think. I just like stare at the wall and I actually just literally just sit there in silence, man, for 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And I've always found that whenever I do this every once in a while, man, maybe like once every 4 months, 4 to 6 months. That's when I do it. And I always find that, when I do this, I always do it and it ends up like giving me the answer that I need at the time, giving me the right step for me to do at that specific time based on what I'm going through in life. Let's say I'm seeking a better job opportunity or something like that. I've done it in those moments. Like I was thinking, man, how can I get a better job? How can I find a way to make income? Like how am I going to do it? This always stays in my head. For example, and then obviously when you're just thinking about it on a surface level and you're just going about your day doing things, you're not going to be able to find an answer as efficiently as if you were to do this method of sitting there in silence. And whenever I do this, I always sit in silence and it just came to me, man. I just realized, I can do this. I can do X, Y, and Z. And that's how I can make more money. All right. So, and it can be with anything else, right? Maybe you're struggling with, depression or something like that. It can work with anything. Like if anything that you need an answer for, you can use this method. All right. And a lot of people are going to think it's like meditation, but it's a little bit different than meditation because meditation is you sitting there and just thinking about your life and where you are and stuff like that and analyzing stuff in your own head. But this is a little bit different because you want to be in actual silence and just turn your brain completely off, just completely off and just sit there in silence, man. All right. And then eventually that right answer is going to come to you rather than you chasing that right answer. The answer is just going to come to you. It's kind of backwards, and it is effective, man. So if you're going through a hard time, if you're going through uncertain times where you just don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know what you to do with your life. This might just be the answer for you, man. You can just try this out, man. Try it for 30 minutes, an hour. Just sit there in your room and just don't think about anything, and eventually you're gonna get the right answer. Trust me. This worked for a lot of people, man, that I know personally, and it also worked for me. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be able to, have it's gonna be effective for you as well if you try it the right way. Just don't lose hope, man. And now it might not work for the first time. You might have to do it twice. You might have to do it 3 times. Maybe the first time might not be effective. You might do it for 30 minutes, and you might see that you're not getting an answer. You're not getting the right answer that you think is going to help you in that moment. But if you try it again, maybe the next day, maybe a week after, try it again. There's no rush. You can try it again, and if you keep trying it, you're gonna just something's gonna click. You're gonna know what to do, man. All right, I really believe in this. You're gonna know what to do. You're gonna know what move to make, what step to take. It's similar to playing chess. That's how I like to think about it. When you play chess with someone, you will often realize that people that are very good at chess, they're masters, they're professional at chess. You'll realize that they're gonna sit there when it's their turn to make a move. They're gonna probably sit there for some people sit there for like 30 minutes. Do you guys notice that, man? The professional level people, they sit there for 30 minutes to an hour sometimes trying to decide what move to make. And that's normal. Like it's the same thing with you in your life. You are a chess game pretty much. So if you're right now stuck between what move to make, what action step to take in your life, you can do the same thing. There is no rush. So by sitting there in silence for like 30 minutes to an hour, you can analyze things and really think deeply about what step should you take. What can you do in your life, man? What are you good at? What is it that you can do right now to improve your situation right now? And what can you do in order to improve your situation in life long term? You can think about these things, and if you think deeply, if you think the right way, man, if you just sit there in silence, I promise you, man, the right answer is gonna come. I don't know what it is, but you know what it is, based on your life. Everybody has a different life. So if as long as you're doing this, man, you're gonna have the right answer. You're gonna find the answer that you're looking for. Trust me when I say that. So yeah, just think about it like a chess game, just like I told you. That's basically what it is, really. So don't overthink it, man. Just try this, and if it doesn't work, try it again.